Doing this one thing will have a profound effect on your life. Good morning and welcome to Transforming Your Life in 15 Minutes. My name is McAdams. I'm an author. I'm also an accounting professor and a certified life coach. I specialize in personal and small business finance and also fitness. I help people reach their goals. And on this segment of Transform Your Life in 15 Minutes, this is where we're doing 5-minute exercises, one each for the mind, the body, and the soul. Now for this mind portion, I want you to know two main things. Number one, I'm not here to teach you anything. I'm just here to help you unlock what's already within you. All right. And number two, it's going to be a little lesson to learn, 5 minutes short, but it's going to take you a lifetime to master. All right. So let's go ahead and get started because I only have 5 minutes. And I tell you what, on the edge of, I should say, on the end of my vacation, I started thinking about what's going on with the last thing that we talked about, particularly the last book. So if you weren't listening 2 weeks ago, yeah, the last book that we talked about was Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson. And this is actually a little small short parable about change. And it talks about the little mice, sniff and scurry, and then the little people, which are him and haw. And it's really about change. And keep in mind that this Transform Your Life in 15 Minutes is all about change. And so it got me to thinking, particularly with that book, we ended with the lessons of Ha, but now I want to kind of do the epilogue of him. Now, if you remember in the story, him was the one that was totally adamant against change, like totally opposed against change. At the very end of the parable, I purposely didn't finish it I purposely didn't finish the story because I want you to read it. Okay, so make sure you read it. Seriously, it will take you like less than an hour to read, maybe an hour or two. But this is a short story, but it's going to give you a profound effect, and it's going to affect the way that you see change. And on the epilogue of him was the one that was totally opposed to change. And so in the story, though, I want you to understand that even before we got to the maze, okay, or I should say before we got to the cheese and then even into the maze. And keep in mind, the cheese was representative of what you want in life, and then the maze was representative of where you go to find it. But even before then, it actually has a beginning. And that beginning is you, okay? So you, first of all, what you think and your thoughts and all that is going to affect what you want, which then is going to obviously determine where you're going to look to go find it. But it starts off with you. And so that's why I wanted to start off today, or I start today with saying doing this one thing is going to have a profound effect on you. And once I get started, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Now, this one thing that I'm referring to is be aware of the way that you speak to yourself. Okay? Don't just surface listen to me. Like seriously process this. Be aware of the way that you speak to yourself because it really has a profound effect on the way you think and then also your actions. And those are the two main points I want to talk about today, all right? So in other words, being aware of the way that you speak to yourself because it's going to have a profound effect on your thoughts and then your actions or lack thereof. Now let's talk about the thoughts first. If you've been following me for a while, you know we're working on transformation. We're talking about change, and it all starts here in our minds, okay? And so you've seen this picture before, so I'm going to show it to you again, and I understand it's backwards, but come on, work with me here. All right, so this right here is a picture of your mind. Now, the top part of here is known as your conscious mind. This is your thinking mind. This is where the thoughts come, okay? Those conscious thoughts that we have are going to come here. And then the subconscious mind, this bottom portion right here is known as your subconscious mind. And this is your emotional mind. This is where the habits and the beliefs are formed. Now, notice then, these habits and beliefs then affects your body, which is going to determine your actions and your results or the lack thereof, okay? So now let me give you an example. Let's say that you look in the mirror and then you say to yourself, I'm fat. Okay? It may seem like you say, well, Pia, that's not harsh as truth, but let me just kind of show you how that translates to your actions or lack thereof. So the first thing you say, you look at yourself in the mirror and you start being subconscious about yourself and you say, I'm fat. All right. So then fat can lead to feelings that nobody likes you. Okay. Seriously, it can. And keep in mind, guys, when I'm talking about this is, before I even get started with this, let me explain one more. I got to show you one more chart, and it's this one right here. Now, this one is actually, hopefully you can actually see it. There we go. This is actually a true representation of your conscious mind, your subconscious mind. This one right here would just kind of give you a picture of what your mind looks like and how it affects your body. But this one right here is the real true representation of your mind. I want you to notice that only 5%, okay, of our total mind represents the consciousness, okay? Whereas 95% of what we do is unconscious or in your subconscious mind. This is like the autopilot. And of course, these little positive and negative or positive things that serve you, and then of course the negative things that don't serve you. All right. So if you think in terms of that 5% conscious thought, it's going to think you're saying to yourself, I'm fat. That's just 5% of it, right? But then deep down underneath, now all those negativity things start coming up where you start saying, nobody likes me. Then what you don't realize is that subconsciously, that was actually programmed between the ages of, say, 3 and, let's say, 9, sometimes all the way up to 13, but let's say really between the ages of 3 and 9, something happened, and it doesn't really matter it kind of does matter what happened, but I'm just saying something happened between that time age that really affected your sense of self-worth. And so by you consciously saying, I am fat, what's happening is your brain, your mind is processing, going down deep under, and then feelings of being unworthiness start to resurface because they're already in us. And then that's when the subconscious mind takes over. Okay. So keep in mind, what are thoughts? Thoughts are things that you just think over and over again, right? I mean, just something that happens in your mind. It doesn't make it true. Doesn't make it not true. These are just things that we think about. But then what happens to those thoughts as we think about them over and over again? They now become a belief. Okay, so if you're saying to yourself, you just consciously say, I am fat. Now subconsciously, those feelings of unworthiness come up. And then all of a sudden, subconsciously, you're thinking, I am not worthy. I am not worthy. And that becomes the belief that was already instilled within you. So then, therefore, there's not going to be any actions. All right, so let me give you another example. In the same one, you're thinking into yourself, I'm fat. And what you don't realize is by saying I'm fat or being aware that you're saying I'm fat, now all of a sudden you're thinking in terms of unworthiness. So then next time you go to a restaurant and you're not even thinking about this anymore. Like seriously, you said I'm fat like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, but now it's another day, 2 weeks from then, and then you're in a restaurant and then you're eating. And then all of a sudden you start looking around, and because of that autopilot, that feeling of unworthiness, the feeling of nobody likes me, you start to subconsciously think people are looking at me the way I'm eating. Or you may be with friends and you're noticing that they're having salads and you're having a cheeseburger. And so all of a sudden you start feeling bad about the way that you look because of what you're eating. Okay? And in other words, it's not true, but it doesn't matter because to you it is. Because the way that you thought I am fat long time ago, but you kept thinking it over and over again subconsciously. All right? And so then therefore you're eating a cheeseburger. And then all of a sudden you think people are looking at you, they're staring at you, and all of a sudden that affects your whole day, right? And then not only that, when it comes time, let's say you decide to take action on it, and then you decide because right now you're like, okay, I gotta do something, I gotta eat, change the way I eat, I gotta start exercising, but then all of a sudden you feel that you can't, or you may start, but then you break off. It all stems because subconsciously you've already programmed I shouldn't say it was already programmed within you from a younger age, those feelings of unworthiness. And once it hits that feeling level, it's on autopilot. So that's when you have trouble having action. And that's why it's very, very important that you are aware of what you think to yourself. And by the way, I can go deep on this, like seriously deep, but I can't. I only have 5 minutes and I got to kind of wrap this up. But the bottom line is this. You got to be aware of the way that you think, that you speak to yourself. The things that you say to yourself, you would not say to anyone else, but you say it to yourself. You are your own worst enemy, and you're self-sabotaging yourself. And so stop doing that. And it starts off with being aware. Even those little small things. Keep in mind, I mentioned that your thoughts are just 5%. Okay, your subconscious mind is just 5%. But it really activates the subconscious mind. So just by saying that little small thing, or that little small thought of saying, I am fat, really awakens the subconscious mind, which is already there. You don't need to activate it. It's already activated. So don't solidify that with those thoughts. So be aware and be kind to yourself. Okay? You are important. You are special. You have gifts. Which brings me to the book that we're going to actually be covering this month. All right? So each month I talk about a new book. Now, this book that we're going to be reading, this book, is actually one that I just received, and I'm so excited that I received this book because this actually falls along the line of everything that we've been talking about. We've been talking about the subconscious mind. We talked about habits. We talked about we talked about the 5 areas in your life. We've been talking about a lot of things, and we started or ended last week with change. Well, this one is a book on empowerment. And the book that we're going to be reading this month is called Open Your Book. Open Your Book. Open the Book. But Open Your Gifts by Kim Coles. And there's 22 lessons on finding and embracing your personal power. Because what I want you to understand is this. You have the power. Okay? You have the power. That is so important. That is so empowering to know and to understand, is that you have the power. You have the power to affect change in your life. And only you. Now, for instance, I can help facilitate you. I can give you tools, I can give you tricks, I can tell you what skills you need, I can do all of that. But it all starts with you. And that you that I'm referring to is also your mind. You got to change the way that you think, because those thoughts that you think are not true. If they no longer serve you, guess what? You have the power to change them. And that's what we're going to be talking about this month on Transform Your Life in 15 Minutes. All right, so I hope that little trick was really, and it's not really a trick, it's a tool that's going to really help you. And it's a profound effect. Change the way, or I shouldn't say change, because again, you may not want to change it, but at least be aware of the way that you're speaking to yourself. And hopefully, because by being aware of it, it's going to help activate some changes within you that's going to help facilitate the change that you want, because you have the power. Ultimately, it falls down and is determined by you. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the way. If you're saying, oh, I can't, I don't have time. See, I'm telling you, it works. You do have time. You are important, and you deserve this. So let's go ahead and do it. It's just 5 minutes. 5 minutes out of your day of 24 hours. Like, think about it. 5 minutes. It's like a drop, literally like a drop in the ocean. 5 minutes. But those drops add up. Okay, so 5 minutes, these 5-minute exercises, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Those 5-minute exercises that we're doing, the mind, body, and soul, if I had to rank them, because I do like to rank things, I would say, well, I should say I should rank them, because it's not about the ranking, but it is a cycle, okay? The cycle is this. If you work on your mind, it's going to affect your actions in your body. And then the meditation that we do, guess what? That helps facilitate your mind, because you are clearing those negative thoughts, okay? I should say you're clearing it, because keep in mind that when we're doing meditation, the goal is not to clear your mind, because the only way to clear your mind is to be dead, okay? But what it will help you do is it will help you to not focus on those thoughts, and then just give you a focus on just emptiness or nothingness. And by focusing on that, over time, it's going to open yourself up to receiving the things that you need to receive in order to facilitate the change, okay? So it's a cycle. If you don't work on your mind, and all you do is work on body or action, eventually you're going to fail, or I should say you should stop, or it's going to be harder for you. Make it easier for you by working on your mind, because it all starts here. And if you're wondering why you have a hard time sticking with things, it's because it's all here, subconsciously. Remember, subconsciously is autopilot. And I'm not talking, keep talking, but this is very, very important. Like, seriously, let me give you one more example, and then I promise we'll get to the body. In fact, I'll even have the music ready so we can get started. I had a friend that was visiting me. It was probably about 3 weeks ago. And she said to me, we were talking, she said to me, Pia, why are you doing that? And I was like, doing what? She said, doing that. I was like, what? And I didn't know what I was doing, but apparently I was like, I thought about it, and when I looked at my hands, I had just finished rubbing my eyes. So apparently I rubbed my eyes a lot, and I wasn't aware of it. Now, after she said that, I noticed, like, all of a sudden, I was noticing I was doing it all the time. But again, subconsciously, consciously, I didn't know I was doing it. It was a subconscious action that I was doing over and over again. But by her bringing that to my forefront, to my conscious mind, I was then aware of what I was doing subconsciously. I didn't realize I was doing it. There are things that we're doing, things that we're saying that you don't even realize that you're doing it. And that's what I'm talking about, okay? All right, no more. Let's get to the body. Okay, now, so for this body, we're going to do a 5-minute yoga. And let's go ahead and start off in tabletop. So let's go ahead and get on your hands and knees. And before you get started on your hands and knees, I want you to center yourself. I want you to become grounded and aligned. So I want you to take 3 deep breaths, okay? And you can do this while you're in tabletop or just before you get to tabletop. I usually doing it only on the way there and then when I'm there as well. And then also I want you to set a gratitude, okay? Set an intention of what it is that you want to accomplish for this next 5 minutes, okay? All right, let's go ahead and meet me on the mat. so make sure your palms are directly underneath your shoulders and that your knees are directly underneath your hips. I want you to take a nice deep breath, inhaling through your nose. And as you exhale, I want you to drop your chin down to your chest. I want you to round through your spine. I want you to tuck your tailbone under. As you inhale, I want your head and chest to come forward. Belly button goes down toward the mat. Stick your tailbone out toward the back of the room. Press your shoulder blades and your armpits down toward the mat. Then as you exhale, take it up to the cat. Inhale one more time. Head and chest comes forward. And then this time as you exhale, I want you to return back to neutral spine. We're going to start off with a balancing act, so go ahead and find your focal point, which means you just find one spot either directly in front of you or slightly at an angle and just focus on that spot. Now I want you to draw a deep breath in, and as you exhale, I want you to extend the right arm and left leg. Now if you're having trouble balancing, feel free to lower the leg and or the arm. I want you to get a nice long extension from the fingertips all the way down to the toes, from the top of your head all the way down to the tailbone. And then go ahead and release it down. Another deep breath in. And as you exhale, opposite arm, opposite leg. Now again, extensions from the top of your fingertips all the way down to the top of your toes. Press those armpits down. And then release. Go to the opposite side one more time. As you exhale, nice long extension. Remember, it's the opposite arm and opposite leg. So if you're doing your right arm, it's your left leg. I want you to stabilize your core, squeeze your belly button toward the spine, and extend. All right, good. Go ahead and release. Now go ahead and dive your toes under or curl your toes under, and let's take it to downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Savasana. Now from here, let's go ahead and walk your feet in toward your palms, and keep your palms flat, so if you need to, go ahead and bend your knees. And then I want you to slowly round yourself up. Take it one vertebrae at a time. Just making sure that your head is the last to rise. And let's come to Tadasana, which is mountain pose. So your feet are together slightly apart. Pretend like there's roots from the bottom of your feet going all the way down through the mat, down through the floor, through the ground, all the way down to Middle Earth. Your fingertips are pointing straight down, your shoulders are drawn down and back. Your head is an natural extension of the spine. Pretend like there's a string from the crown of your head attached to the ceiling. You're standing nice, tall, strong, sturdy, just like a mountain. As we inhale, we're going to take those arms up overhead. And as we exhale, we're going to guide the body forward. As we inhale, we're going to look up halfway. As you exhale, you're going to flatten out the palms as you forward fold, and you're going to step back right, left into the plank. As you continue exhaling, you're going to release your knees, your chest, and your chin, or Chaturanga Dandasana. And as you inhale, you're going to bring your body forward to upward facing dog. Relax your shoulders. And then you're going to curl your toes under and take it to downward facing dog. Now from downward facing dog, let's go ahead and bring our right foot forward toward the fingertips. And let's take it up to the high lunge. Now you press your hips down toward the mat. You make sure your knee is directly over that front ankle. And the arms are extended with the palms facing each other. Now I want you to bring the palms together at the heart center. And as you exhale, I want you to rotate and twist over to the right and hinge forward so that the outer part of your elbow is on the outside of your knee. Now make sure you don't rest on your knee and drop your torso. You're lifting up your torso. And your gaze goes over that right shoulder. All right, go ahead and rotate back. Extend the arms up. And as you exhale, I want you to turn that left foot in, perpendicular, straighten the right leg, and hinge forward into pyramid. You may need to have a micro bend in your knee depending on your flexibility. And go ahead and bend the knee as you flatten out the palm. Take that right leg back into the plank. Release your knee, chest, chin, or chaturanga dandasana. And then inhale. And then curl the toes under. And exhale. Now we're going to bring that left foot forward toward the fingertips. And take it up to the high lunge. Relax those shoulders. Remember the body positioning, using a nice deep ujjayi breath. Bring the palms together at the heart center. Rotate over toward the left, hinge from the hip and the outer part of your elbow and the outer part of the knee, lifting up the torso, and your gaze goes up over that left shoulder. All right, go ahead and rotate. Find your balance. Rotate, and then extend the arm up. Turn that left foot and right foot in perpendicular as you straighten out that left leg. And as you exhale, we're going to hinge forward from the hip to pyramid. Now, it's not uncommon for you to be more flexible on one side than the other, so just kind of be patient. So as you're breathing, on the inhale, just kind of hold your position. And as you exhale, surrender and release into the pose. Slowly start to bend the knee, place the palms flat. Take that left foot back. Again, knee, chest, chin, or chaturanga dandasana. Inhale. Relax those shoulders. Exhale. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Now go ahead and slowly start to walk your feet in toward your palms. And again, try to keep your palms flat. Macro knees if you have to. And let's hold here in Uttanasana, a forward fold. Take your hands and your fingertips and clasp the outer part of your elbow. Let the crown of your head bring your body weight naturally forward. Again, as you inhale, just kind of hold your position. As you exhale, surrender, release into the pose. Now go ahead and release your fingertips down toward the mat, and then slowly round it up. Taking it one vertebrae at a time. Always making sure that your head is the last to rise. Draw your shoulders up and round toward the back. Inhale, take the arms up overhead. Exhale, dive the body forward. Place your palms down flat. Walk your feet out toward the edges of the mat. And as you exhale, release the tailbone down toward the mat. Use the outer part of your elbows, your triceps. Press out those inner thighs. Bring your palms together at the heart center, bow your head down, Malasana. And go ahead and give some gratitude. Now go ahead and release the palms down, and then take them behind as you slowly start to transition yourself to a comfortable seated position, facing front. Making sure that you're on your sits bones and off the fleshy part of your body. You're sitting up nice and tall with your fingertips down to the side of you. Now inhale, take those arms up. Fingertips go up toward the sky. And as you exhale, release them down toward the mat. Again, nice deep breath. Inhaling. And exhaling. One more time, draw the breath in. Inhaling all the positive energy. Breathe the palms together at the very top. As you exhale, bring your palms together at heart center. And we add our bow as we say, Namaste. All right, thank you for taking the time to do that 5-minute yoga with me. And now we're going to move on to our meditation. So for the meditation, we're going to be doing a 2-minute exercise. And again, this is just a nice way to begin the morning, particularly if you're stressed and you don't have a lot of time, or if you're not stressed, you just want to start off your day. So we're going to do this 2-minute exercise for the meditation. And And again, all you're going to do is you're just going to breathe normally for 2 minutes. But what you're going to do is you're going to count your exhales. You're going to start off with a count of 1. You're just going to count up on every exhale. Now, if any time your mind starts to wander by outside distractions or internal noise, known as thoughts, acknowledge those thoughts, acknowledge the noise, acknowledge the distraction, and then refocus your mind back to your count and to your breath and start all over with the count of 1. Okay? So if you get up to count number 3 and all of a sudden you think, oh, I got to do this today, acknowledge what it is that you got to do, redirect your attention back to your breath, and particularly on that next exhale, you start off again with the count of 1. Now to get started, morning Nisi. To get started, we're going to first ground and center ourselves. So take a nice deep breath, inhaling through your nose, and exhale through your mouth. Again, nice deep breath, inhaling through your nose, and exhaling through your mouth. One more time, nice deep breath, inhaling through your nose. This time as you exhale, I want you to go ahead and close your eyes. Continue your breath without manipulating. Start counting now. All right, go ahead and release, relax, return, refreshed, and calm. You've done something good for yourself today. I want to thank you for taking the time to do that 2-minute exercise for meditation, and also thank you for taking the time to watch this transform your life in 15 minutes. Your word for today is sincere. I want you to have a day filled of sincere activity, sincere love, and sincere gratitude. All right, and I will see you the same time tomorrow. Oops. Bye.